So, shall we talk about an assessment task?
Sure.
So, this is a standard sort of assessment task that you might receive at school. This one is about digital technologies, from the subject digital technologies anyway. And the topic is 3D design, because in this assessment task they are creating a superhero and they use a 3D design program to work on that superhero and then print it out on the 3D printers. We'll talk about the rubric and how this works later, but a rubric's just a basic part of how to get the best mark that you can in this assessment task. Let's talk about this task outline, shall we?
Okay.
So the task outline is exactly what you need to do in your assessment task. It lets you precisely know what to do, how to do it. You can see down here, you've also got to create an explanatory document. So once you've sort of completed these parts here, then you've got all the information needed to start building your superhero in a 3D modelling program. And you can then use screenshots of your model for the posters that come up next down here. And you also, for digital technologies, you have to make explanatory documents where you annotate your techniques and you use screenshots. You put the screenshot in, then you talk about how and why you did a certain thing in the design. Down here, for this assessment task anyway, they have to make a poster. And last but not least, to complete the task, you need to get all of these things together. A cover sheet, the digital version, the one you made in your 3D program, your explanatory documents and your posters, and then you need to upload it into Sector. Any questions on that part?
No.
Okay, so up here, the rubric. Now, this assessment task is marked on these specific criteria here. For example, number 5, working independently and collaboratively when required. To get the best mark in the assignment, well, you can get an E or an A or a C. Obviously A is the highest score that you can get, the highest mark, but to do that you've got to get a highly skilled development and of independent and collaborative planning. Okay, just in there. And you'll get an A if you show that in your work down here. If you only show a competent development of that same thing, of planning and working together or independently, then you get a C. And if you don't show much of it at all, then you get an E. And it's the same for each one. So for each of these ones here, you can get an A, B, C, D or E, and each one is highly skilled, competent, partial development of this one here, and then limited development. Okay, and that's the actual design process in there, using a different range of techniques. Any questions on that?
How can you make sure that you definitely get an A?
That's an excellent question, actually. So let's say you've read this one, explore how to acquire data from a range of digital sources, and you're not quite sure what it means. If you go and talk to your teacher, then they'll explain exactly how you need to do it. Now, for the 3D design and explore how to acquire data, well, if you can show in your explanatory document lots of screenshots of all the different websites you went to have a look at 3D design, then that puts you up in the highly skilled, an A. If you've taken one screenshot from one website, okay, that's competent development. Maybe it's probably actually down at this section here. If you've only gone to one website and looked at one superhero, if you've done none of that, then you're down here at an E. But if you've gone to like 5 or 6 websites and you've got 5 or 6 different pictures of superheroes that you would like to design, or ideas of superheroes that you would like to create, well, then you've acquired data from a range of digital sources. Lots of different websites. You might have looked at digital textbooks. And so that's how you would get the highest mark that you could.